Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. All right, family. We're going to have our discussion today. I want to talk about some very positive things. I was trying to fix my furnace piece, but I'm going to have to fix it later. It's not working right now. I'll get it a little bit later. Try to correct it. All right. May the Most High be praised. May He be pleased with our efforts. May the Most High have mercy upon us. May He guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, and my speech as I approach unto you, His people. Okay, family, you know that you all have the opportunity to ask questions on this day. Shalom, family. You all can ask questions, and Creator willing, we'll be able to answer those questions. I thank you all for joining in today. My name is Prince Kazaridar Benai Yisrael of Temple Kifarim in Philadelphia. Most people just call me Prince. All right, we're going to rock like this here. This is how we're going to do this. Shabbat Shalom, family. Who we have in the room? Prince Rav. Shalom. Shalom, Prince. Antoinette. Shalom, Antoinette. Shalom, Ishi. All right, we're going to rock. I think I seen Majay up in there a little earlier. Majay. So, family, this is how we're going to do this as normal. If you have any questions that you want to ask, just type your questions in the room, and Creator willing, we'll be able to address your questions. There's a lot of concerns going on in Israel today. And I need the sisters to understand that a lot of the things that we do is going to be predicated on how you all get along and how you understand things and how you move forward in righteousness and truth with one another. Okay? But oftentimes what happens is if the sisters are out of order, you know, it throws off so many things when the sisters are out of order that we don't even really fully understand the depth of how important it is that the sisterhood is on point. Because if the sister's out of order, she's going to in turn cause her man to be out of order, the children to be out of order, and everything else to be out of order. But if the sisters are all working and putting forth that combined effort to please the Creator, to unify the house of Yisrael, and to stand behind her man and support him in the things that he's doing, everything else falls in place. It's all about that, family. This is what we have to focus on. These lessons that we give is geared toward building the individual toward righteousness on an individual level, so that collectively, when all these little righteous individuals come together, we'll build a great, powerful nation. That kingdom that Prince Rav was speaking about, that we have the possibility of forming right here on earth in the land that we call Goshen in Sparta, Georgia. Opportunity is there. Shalom, shalom. Trice Williams. Shalom, Corlin. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. We got a couple people supposed to be coming today. I don't know if they're going to come, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to allow them to stop us from what we have to do. Would be nice to have a reader, but I got to do it myself. We're going to start our readings today in the book of Genesis, the 29th chapter. Genesis, the 29th chapter. All right? Genesis 29:1. Wait a minute, we got a question in the room. Let me see what that question is. Sister got a question. She says, we are to install in our children as the Most High gave them to us. Cain prepared them for him. You're absolutely right, sis. You're absolutely right. Wonderful point. All right, let's move forward. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, sis, because I seen your page and you be lighting it up. May the Most High be pleased with your efforts as well, Antoinette. Genesis 29th chapter, first verse. Remember what we're trying to approach, sisters. We're trying to build individuals into righteous individuals so that collectively we can come together and form a righteous nation, a holy nation, a set-apart nation to give glory and honor to the Most High King. All right? It says, then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. You know, back in the ancient days, I got to make fun of this, but they didn't have piping running under the ground. They had wells where we would actually go out and take what we formed as shovels and dig 3-foot holes straight down. And sometimes they went down like 60 feet. And the thing is, with a well, you got to line a well. So this well that we're reading about took a lot of work to do. But our ancestors were so accustomed to doing it that it was like second nature to them. This was a natural thing for them to do. They had certain men that they would hire to go out and do it, or they would do it themselves. But a well was something that was vitally important for our survival because we got water from the well. It's not like today you go in the kitchen, you hit the faucet, water comes out. It's not like that. It wasn't like that in the ancient days. You had to have a well dug, or you had to have a river or a stream, something by your land to get water from. Some of us used to go down to the lake or to the stream and get water and walk back, but that's a heavy task. Sometimes you could have a well that usually is a community well where everybody from that little area or that little region would go to the well and everybody would scoop out their water, and then they would carry the well on donkeys or horseback or however they did it. I don't think they had horses in our land at that time in those days. They may have. I don't think. The word for horse in Hebrew is sus, so look it up sometime. But I don't think so. I think they had donkeys, mules more so. So they used to take and go get the mules and then load them up with the water and carry them back. It was a lot of work. I put emphasis on that because I want you to see how important this chapter is speaking about the vitality of life coming forward from this well. Look at the wonderful things and the mysterious things of love that have taken place from the well. Here we are. Verse 3, Genesis 29:3. And thither were all the flocks gathered. See, all the flocks and everyone came to the well. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. The purpose of the stone was that the children and other things didn't fall into the well, because you wasn't getting out if you fell in. That was it. And Jacob said unto them, my brother, now this is Yaakov speaking, your father, Yisrael. And Jacob said unto them, my brother, whence be ye? And they said, of Haran are we. And they said unto him, know ye Laban? And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? Now remember, Nahor was Abraham's father, Abraham's brother, Nahor. Now he's Abraham's grandson. You understand? So it's all a lineage thing that they're trying to do. Keep it within the family. Shabbat shalom. Kev, short, Shabbat shalom. Levi Israel, Shabbat shalom. They're trying to keep it within the family. Not too close, but far enough to keep it in family. And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. And he said unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And they said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the children should be gathering together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, we cannot until the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth then we water the sheep. Now, this next portion I want you all to pay close attention to, because if you're reading the King James Version, you will not know this. All right? It says, and while he yet spake with Rachel, while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. In English, it says that she kept the sheep of her father. But in Hebrew, it says that she was a shepherdess. She was a shepherdess. Something that I never paid attention to until I was reading this earlier today. You know, a lot of people teach that women just sit in the house and cook your food and make your meals, clean the house, and raise the children. But this sister, she had not that responsibility because she wasn't a wife. What she was a man's daughter. And as a man's daughter, her responsibility in the ancient days was slightly different. Her responsibility was pretty much like King David's responsibility, because he was a keeper of the flocks also. He was a shepherd boy. She was a shepherd girl. See, they got a little bit of similarities in there. And she happened to be the one that he chose to, and when I say he, I'm talking about our father, Israel, Jacob. That's the one that he chose over his sister, over all the women that he had met. He fell in love with her from first sight. He fell in love with her so severe that his very first kiss that he just walked up and take, he cried. And I could just imagine that passion that was flowing through him at the time, that he cried when he got that kiss. Strong reading that we are about to read. She, Rachel, was a shepherdess. You have to remember that. She worked for her livings. It reminds me of the story in Proverbs, Proverbs 31, where it speaks about the sister who looked after her household and she did her work. She put her hands to work to make things happen for the family. Wonderful Proverbs. Now, I'm not saying that it's a woman's responsibility to provide for the family. It's not what I'm saying. It's the man's responsibility that when you take a wife, you're able to provide for her. And if you're not able to provide for her, you shouldn't take a wife until you are able to provide for that woman and your future family, or the family that you have grafted it yourself into. Okay? But at this time, she's not married. So she's doing what we would call housely chores. That one chore that she did was she kept after the sheep. So she brought the sheep down to the well. Okay? And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flocks of Laban, his mother's brother, and Jacob kissed Rachel. Wow. Complete stranger. It don't even say that Jake laid down no rap. It don't even say that he said, hey, how you doing? My name is Jacob. I'm your cousin, you know, and I'm thinking about taking you for a wife. Jake didn't do none of that stuff. Jake went up to her. He showed her his value when he rolled away the stone. He says, look, I'm going to provide for you the task that's too hard for you to do. I'm going to do it for you. As a man, that's how you have to present yourself before a woman. It ain't about you jumping in the sack and showing how good you can get down in the sack. That comes way after you've proven your value and your worth in real life. You have to show her that you're capable of providing for her, capable of taking care of her, capable of doing the job that a man is required to do when he takes a wife. Okay? Anybody can get down there and make that thing hit a heartbeat, skip a note in that matter. But it takes a real man to satisfy the real needs and desires of a real woman. You understand what I'm saying? So Jake had to show off a little bit. Yeshaya, I know you ain't watching, Yeshaya. You supposed to be here with me. Yeshaya, you ain't no good out. You're not right. You gave your word. But Jake had to show off a little bit and show that I have the ability to do this. And what he did was from the door, he saw her, he just grabbed her and kissed her. And that kiss was so powerful, what did he do? What did he do after he kissed her? He cried, he wept. You know, men ain't supposed to cry. Men supposed to be strong. Men supposed to be on point. We ain't supposed to be showing no emotions like that. But he did. Because that kiss was real powerful. Shabbat shalom, Moray. Shabbat shalom. That kiss was powerful that he gave. Men are supposed, and we're taught in this society, and I happen to agree with it to a degree, that men are supposed to be strong and we don't supposed to show any emotions and we supposed to be like rough and rugged and we ain't supposed to cry. But Jake got overpowered. That kiss was so strong and so powerful. He felt it in his soul and it made him cry. It says he raised his voice, call his voice. He raised his voice and he cried. He couldn't help himself because the love that he had for that woman from the door was overpowering his mind and him trying to hold back his emotions. That's how you know when it's real. Okay? It says, verse 11, we're reading from Genesis 29, verse 11. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice, and he wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother. He didn't even introduce himself until after he got his kiss. Ain't that something? Now, how many of you today will let a man just walk up to you? I wouldn't even tell you to let a man walk up to you and just kiss you from the door. But when that emotion is just that powerful, you ain't really going to be able to prevent what's going to happen. But yet you keep your womanly, your spirit about you. Be like, ho, wait a minute. I don't do that. You got to go talk to my father. You got to go talk to my Abba, okay? Or my big brother. You don't just walk up on me and kiss me. What's wrong with you? She felt it too, though. I ain't going to lie. She felt it too. That's why you don't see nothing in here saying that she punched him, or she kicked him, or she bit him, or scratched him, because she felt them too. She felt that passion intermingling between the two of them. And Jacob kissed Rachel. I got to keep reading that part because that's the high point of the chapter. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. She didn't walk. She didn't stroll. She was so excited behind that kiss that she ran. Pew! She knew that now was the opportunity for her to be a wife. And in the ancient days, that's what women lived for. They didn't live to get a job to take care of themselves and provide for themselves, have a baby from different baby daddies, 4 and 5 different babies from different men, and then kick the man out the house and be responsible for the responsibilities of the household. That's not what they did in the ancient days. And any righteous woman in today's world wouldn't want to do that either. What they did in the ancient days was that they prepared themselves to be a wife. From their youth, they were raised up to become a man's wife. Here was her opportunity. You at the door. Now, if I go to my door and knock on the door, Yeshua, you going to be out there? Don't tell me you at the door and you ain't out there. You lying on the Shabbat day, y'all. It was their responsibility to be raised to be a wife for a man. And that's what they did. They would raise their daughters to be a wife. You know, women had to have certain skills to show their value. Okay, he at the door, y'all. Hold on a second. Let's go get this character. Hold on a second, please. This guy. Whoa. This guy. Swing my door. Look at my swing my door, man. What's going on?
Are you on?
Yeah, we are.
Fix the flag, brother.
No, it's intentional.
Oh, it's intentional? Oh, okay.
Turn your volume down on your phone. The flag is like that for a reason, because we're not a free nation. We're a nation in captivity.
Oh, so you little.
We haven't earned the right yet to hang our flag.
All the way.
That's right.
I got you.
We can't. Moray Yoel put me down with that one.
So, when we all the way free.
When we all the way free, we get to exert our flag in fullness. But right now, we're just fooling ourselves thinking we free. And we ain't free. We still slaves. Yeah, he's a man of his word. I got to give it to him. He's a man of his word. He kept his word. May the Most High be praised and pleased with this young man's actions on this day. He kept his word.
What's going on?
All right, right there, man.
Right there?
Yeah, hand me that piece there, please.
Okay.
Thank you. I got to fix it. I couldn't fix it, so I couldn't put it on today. All right, family, let's get back into the word. We got you shy. You might want to slide over so they can hear. Well, they can probably hear your voice. You talk loud enough. You got a big voice. You want to rest your coat, man? You want something to drink, something to eat? Kitchen right there. Take your hat off. Get comfortable. And is that my hat, man? It look like my hat.
No,
man.
this is me right here.
That's my hat. That's my hat. You stole my hat. He stole my hat, y'all.
My daughter dressed me.
Yeah, your daughter, she probably did, but she took my hat out that closet. You probably buried it in the closet. All right, so we're going to move on, family. We're going to start at verse 11, because I think it's very important. Genesis 29, verse 11. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him. Now, what did Laban just do with Jake? He greeted him with a kiss. You see what I mean? This is how honorable men got down. This is how honorable men got down. We kept our word. Yes, that's true. But when an honorable man came in the presence and wanted to show honor and respect to another man, he kissed him. It wasn't no kiss in the mouth. It was a kiss on the cheek or a kiss on the neck. And if you know anything about honor, that's how men did. Real men. Not no men that it was questionable whether they were flaky or not. Now, one of them dudes kiss you, you better be watching it, because he probably a little funny. But we talking about men who you know are bona fide honorable men. This is how we greet each other. We read this earlier where we read about in the 18th chapter of Exodus, where Moshe met his father-in-law, he kissed his father-in-law in the same manner. Here we have Jake being met by his uncle, Laban. And they embrace and they kiss. That's love, real love. Something that a lot of men would question today if you did it to them, and it's because they have no honor in them. The men that I hug and kiss don't even question whether I'm that fruity dude. It's not even a question. They understand my love and my respect for them. And that's how I do. Okay? Let's move on. 13. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran and met him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him that space of a month. Right. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for nothing? Now, he didn't say thou art my nephew. He went straight to the bone and to the blood of it all. He showed him honor and respect. He didn't say little nephew. Nephew has a little bit of a subservient tone to it, like you, my uncle. Like when you're wrestling and you getting beat up and the man got you pinned to the ground, you say, uncle, and you hit the mat. Right. That means that I'm subservient to you. It's no disrespect to the nephews, especially you, Carlin. It's no disrespect to the nephews, but it's a different tone. It's an undertone. He didn't say that's my nephew. He said, because you're my brother. You understand? And he wasn't his biological brother. He was his biological nephew. But he called him my brother.
The brother means of equal.
Put him on that level.
Put
Correct.
him on the same level.
Right.
Yeah.
paying honor and respect to him. Like when I be calling you brother. Yeah, I know.
On the internet.
Right, all over the internet, calling you brother, putting you equal and saying, yo, what's up? And then you be making me cry and dark and quiet. And I don't be telling nobody all that, but you be letting, sometimes, you know. All right, let's move on. See, y'all, before I move on, I got to explain this situation with this guy here. Me and Yeshaya have been, in this way of life, we've been friends for almost 30 years.
Yeah, 26 years.
Yeah, something like that. And we've been partners in this construction world for a long time. You say 20 years?
Yeah.
Something like that?
2000.
I don't know what it is. It's just a long time. So there's been a lot of ups and downs between the both of us. You know, we depend on each other in a little special way. I say, you want to do this? He say, I'm going to do that. And then he don't show up. And then, you know, so it's little things like that that I'm trying to insinuate. He say he my brother. Well, he my brother. You got to come through, my brother.
We ain't internet brothers.
Oh, we ain't internet brothers?
We ain't Facebook Hebrews.
We ain't Facebook Hebrews? What's a Facebook Hebrew?
No, just got the information off the internet.
Oh, they got the... Oh, okay. He talking about those...
We sat down at the feet of elders.
Oh, yeah. We did it the right way. Yeah, we did do that.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going. But he's right about that. You know, there's a difference between an Israelite who sat down with the elders and learned their way as opposed to them who got the information off the internet, went with an ideal, and now they out teaching. There's a big difference. And you can tell the difference in the lessons that's being taught. Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Abide with me the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, thou therefore serve me for naught. Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Now Rachel was the one that he loved. Rachel was the one that he kissed from day one. Leah was tender-eyed. Now, when people say tender-eyed, it calls you to think that she was ugly, but she wasn't. Tender-eyed means she was young in the eyes. She was young in the eyes. I hear you. Who's that? LaFaya? What that say? Lafreya? Go ahead, Lafreya. I got you. Bat Hoshea. Shabbat Shalom. Chip. Shabbat Shalom. Tender-eyed meant she was young in the eyes. She looked at young. It didn't mean that she had a droopy eye. Didn't mean she was ugly. It meant she was young looking in her eyes. So Jake, he didn't even fall for her. Not that she was ugly, but he fell in love with her sister, which is a totally different emotion. Okay? Leah was tender-eyed. We're in Genesis, the 29th chapter, verse 17. But Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. Can you imagine a man today saying to another man, I will serve you for 7 years for your daughter?
No.
Man, I wouldn't. Today, you really can't even get a man to say, I'll serve you for a month for your daughter.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? We don't have that kind of honor today, but this is the kind of honor that we got to get back. She was young and beautiful. That's right. We have to regain this type of honor in our midst today. And that's how we're supposed to do this. Be willing to slave or pay the way for what it is that you desire to have in your life and to possess. And a lot of us, we're not willing to do that. We want to sneak behind daddy's back and lie with the daughter without even letting daddy know openly that we want his daughter. We know we do that, and I quote it, nigger stuff. So like the brother say, when you do nigger things, you get nigger results.
Okay.
A man in Israel is supposed to show honor to that woman, supposed to go to that father, buy a gift for that father. Or if she's a virgin, you pay a dowry for that woman to the father. You know, And if she's not a virgin, then you still can buy him something, talk to him, and ask for his hand in marriage of his daughter. And if he doesn't approve, then you let her go and you try to show him that you're worthy of his daughter. You don't keep seeing her. You don't keep sneaking around with her and trying to show him. You don't disrespect the Israelite code. You have to hold that Hebraic thought honorable in your mind. And you seek his permission. And if he doesn't give you permission at first, then you go around and you try to find ways to please him, to let him know, well, I really want your daughter. And that's how it's go.
That you're worthy. You gotta show your worth.
That's right. You gotta show your worth. All this sneaking around behind the scenes stuff, that ain't good. That ain't what we do here in Israel. And you're disrespecting. How is that a low battery? Hold on one second, family. You're disrespecting the Most High. You're disrespecting everything that you're supposed to stand for when you try to sneak around with an Israelite woman, knowing she's Israel, but yet you're going to bring shame and disrespect to her family and dishonor her by trying to sneak around and lie with her. And that's not how it's supposed to be. You're right, Colin. Nobody has any honor anymore, but they better get some, because that's what's needed. Honor. That's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to reflect honor in all of our actions. Okay, and Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. And they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had for her. His love was great. Unbelievable. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife. He already calling her his wife because he has successfully taken her, paid his way. Now, I would almost guarantee you that he didn't have intercourse with her. That he probably didn't go no further than a kiss and an embrace. Because when a man gave a woman away for marriage, she was supposed to have been a virgin, in the ancient days. Or if she was a widow, it was known already she was a widow, so they wasn't expecting her to be a virgin. But these women were expected to be virgins because they wasn't married. You got it out. You got it. May the Most High be pleased as I instruct those directions. That's to you, Troy. Elder. And Laban, he says, give me my wife. For my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. See, he wasn't having intercourse with her. 7 years he worked for that woman. Most of us couldn't go a year without laying with our women, in a courtship. He went 7 years and didn't touch her. Most of us don't even go a month. Matter of fact, some of us don't even go a week. But honorable men wait their time out. Whatever their designated time is, they wait. The time is determined, and you wait your time out until that day, and then you do what you have to do. You take your wife. His time was up, and he says to his father-in-law, give me my property. Hand over my wife, because I want her. And he did it. But watch what Laban do. Laban is slick, crafty in his mind. And later on in the scriptures, you're going to see that his daughters are just like him. Watch what happens. And Laban gathered together all the men. We were in Genesis 29 and 22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him and went in unto her. And he went in unto her. He had no intentions on going into Leah. He was supposed to choose Rachel to be his wife. But Laban tricked him because he knew that Leah would be harder to pass off. So what he did was a switcheroo. You know the old switcheroo trick?
Yeah.
He got Jake drunk at the feast. More than likely, I'm conjecturing. This is just my thoughts. He got Jake drunk, put him in a dark room or a dark tent, and then slept Leah in there. So Leah had to be a conspirator, a co-conspirator to this whole process. She knew what was going on. But Leah wanted to be married. She wanted to be married because it is desires of every young woman to be married. Now watch this, because from this day forward in history, Leah has always been hurt, depressed, lonely, striving to please her husband and have her husband desire her in a special way. She's always been. Do you know how many women today live life with that same type of passion that doesn't have a husband? That desires to have a righteous man that they can give their all unto, but every time they throw their fish net out there, they keep catching niggas instead of righteous men? No. And I'm not saying there are no righteous men out there, but you got to stop allowing the niggas to take a hold of your net and keep casting your net until you find a righteous man. You know how you'll know he's a righteous man? Because he's going to do the things that I just mentioned in this lesson. He's going to talk to you and elevate you in your spirituality first before he take and try to get in your underwear. You understand? He's going to talk to your parents and see if he can first get their approval to have you as a wife. He not going to act like a nigga and be pimping you, talking about, hey, shorty, what's up? Let's go to the movies tonight. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. He's going to get approval from the authority in your life, whether it's your older brother, because sometimes you don't have a father. And that's not rare in the midst of our people today, to not have a father. An older brother, an older uncle, or some man in your life. And if you have that, then that's the route he's going to take. If you don't have that, then there's certain parameters that he's going to place in, on certain conditions he's going to place in that relationship with you. Right. All right, sis. I know you ain't got no father for me to talk to. Your mother is not alive. Your father's not around. However it is. So this is what I would like to do. I would like for us to court for 6 months. Let's just say 6 months. Okay. All right. I know I'm a prince. It's supposed to be a year. But I'm going to go for, let's say, 6 months. You know? For whatever reason it may be. During that 6 months interval, he will not be disrespectful. What he will be doing is elevating your consciousness, elevating your mind, preparing you for a future life with him. He will be making sure that your life is not a struggle for you anymore. That you can see, like Jake went and pushed the rock away from the well. That brother, the righteous brother that you throw your net at to see if he's going to bite, which he may bite, he's going to be showing you that he's there for you, to provide for you, to make sure that you're comfortable in life. He ain't going to go over and aboard and buy you a house and a car and a yacht, you know. But he will make sure that you are in proper alignment so that when you become his wife fully, you will know that you got a prize. Someone worthy of sacrifice. Someone worthy of being with. And not somebody that's going to sit home and watch video games all day while you go out and slave and work and tell you, well, I'm doing the Lord's work. You go out there and work, girl. I'm out here doing the Lord's work while you working out in the streets every day, pressing the 9 to 5, coming home, paying the bills, taking care of the kids. I'm going to sit home and chill and watch the video games and walk the streets and do nothing, hang with my buddies, while you out doing what you're supposed to do for the family. And then I'm going to go in the corner and I'm going to talk the words of the Lord for 3 and 4 hours, and then I'm going to come back home. So I'm working for the Lord. You work for this household. A lot of men are like that today. Now, those of y'all who that works for, then it works for you. And who am I to question it? But I doubt it very seriously if you would justify that through scriptures. If you search out the scriptures, the Creator tells you by law that if a man takes a wife and then decides to take another wife, that the things that he was responsible for shall not diminish from that first wife. So if you didn't have any responsibility, then how could that law apply?
Right.
You're not responsible for her food, clothing, shelter, and her conjugal rights if you wasn't responsible for it in the beginning. So the only way that the Father can let you know that that is the responsibility of a man is to create a law and then give you ramifications that if you violate this law, this is the punishment. Well, that punishment shows you that that's what you're supposed to have been doing from the beginning.
Right.
And if you got a man in your life, sis, and he ain't providing those necessities and their basic necessities in life, you need to take him before the judges because he's just a man taking advantage of you. He's just a man taking advantage of you. Gordon, Shabbat Shalom, Gordon. Shabbat Shalom, Gerald Thomas. And Bizit Ziwi, Gumby, Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High be pleased with you all. It is a man's responsibility and duties to provide for his family and not sit on his butt all day and let his woman go out and be the slave. And then if she go out and be the slave, now I understand all the stuff about how this society is built against us. I understand all that. And it is. If you go out and you apply for a job and they don't hire you, you go apply for another job and they don't hire you, you don't give up. What you do is you get creative and you create a job. You can take and I mean this is so severe, this is deep, because this is a lot of conditions with our people today. You can take a can of paint and paint the sidewalk in front of people's houses for $10, $15. Just a curb to make it decorative. Hey, can I paint the sidewalk of your house? Can I paint the letters on your address on the wall? You can take stencils and charge $10 a house, an address. You can do anything. There's always ways. You can buy cases of toilet paper and go from door to door and sell cases of toilet paper. There are so many different ways to get a hustle going on. You can get a lawnmower, cut grass. In the wintertime, you can rake leaves. You can clean people's gutters out of their houses. You can go pack bags at the supermarket and carry people bags for them to their car. There are so many ways for a man to make a living. Now, if you keep doing those little things, eventually the Creator will see your efforts and bless you on a greater level. But there should be no idle man in Israel. Because if you're idle, that means you can't eat, and that means you don't deserve a wife if you're idle. What you want to say? Go ahead, I'm listening.
Paint a scenario.
So you got to speak up a little louder.
Let me paint a scenario.
Uh-huh.
In this society,
Uh-huh.
right, you have a woman with children.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time, her housing and her food is already taken care of.
Her housing and her food is already taken care of most of the time?
Most of the time. Maybe through a voucher or some kind of welfare or, through the government.
Okay, through the government. Go ahead.
Let's just say put the government
Uh-huh.
as the person providing.
Uh-huh.
So maybe this woman only requires a man to do what you say do, be the conjugal visit and the person teaching her a Hebrew lesson in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about in the regular world, but maybe that's what she's looking for. She's looking for a brother like you that knows scripture and can teach her scripture and provide the conjugal blessing or whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And everything else is taken care of by the government. So then what?
Okay.
As a man, what's his motivation to get up and create that job and provide for more food and shelter when their food and shelter is already being taken care of?
Security is one thing. Because if the government found out that he was living with her and that she was married, the government would no longer provide those services. She couldn't get the food stamps that she's getting. She couldn't get the cash assistance that she's getting. And she definitely couldn't live in government-funded housing if they found out.
If they found out.
Yeah. So security is one thing. The freedom of exercising your husbandly rights is another. Okay. All right? Every man should want to provide for his family. Now, this is what I say. If you got all that going on as a man, then you got a hustle going on. Now, if you can do all that, let the government pay the way, and you out getting money. If you got a way to really work and save your money, and the government paying your rent and all that stuff, set yourself a time limit that you would allow that to happen while you bank all that money that you're making. Bank it all. And when the time comes, step out, take your family, release yourself from that situation.
Right. Use that assistance, that blessing that she had before you came along.
That's right.
Take that blessing, but give it a time limit. Like, hey,
give it a time limit.
Hey, sis, we're going to use this 2-year plan and then move on to get our own place where they're not telling, the government's not saying, well, this is what you have to eat and this is where you got to stay and this is what you have to do, because the man becomes the leader and not the government.
That's right.
But where do you, hold on. There's more, as you say, you're an employer of men. It's hard to find a man that wants to work in 2019.
Why though?
Because of the thing I just said. Everything's being taken care of, and the women are already all right with the fact that, hey, it's hard out here on the black man. It's hard out here. It's harder on the Hebrew man. So they're willing to say, okay, since he doesn't have a job, I'm going to work with him and give him that 2-year cushion before they really find out that he's really a bum off top.
So if he's really a bum, he shouldn't have the opportunity to have a wife.
Excuse me. But
if he's really a bum, he shouldn't have the opportunity to have a wife.
Who's teaching women, well, these guys are bums and don't take them as husbands?
That's what we're doing now. We're trying to teach our women how to choose a man. That's what this lesson was all about right there.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to educate them on the type of men that they should be looking for, so that they don't continue in this same cycle, keeping us held in captivity and keeping us down.
Right, because it's important to understand Hebrew and the scriptures, but it's also equally important to be able to take care
That's right.
of your family.
Just
don't say, hey, I'm a Hebrew scholar, but you're actually also a bum.
You're a bum.
That knows Hebrew.
That's right.
Okay, cool.
You know, you can't keep the law and not provide for your family. If you're not providing for your family, you're not keeping the law. That's why the elders are able to give that woman a divorce. If you can't provide for your family, then you're not obeying the Creator. And that's not to say that men can't fall on hard times. Right. Shalom, bang. Shabbat shalom. That's not to say that men can't fall on hard times, because sometimes you do fall on hard times. And when you fall on hard times, don't mean that you give up. You're still out there struggling to try to maintain and try to get better and to try to make a way. Right. You know, you don't just give up. And that's what a lot of our problems are. We give up. When hard times come our way, a lot of our people just take the easy road like water. Take the path of less resistance, right, and sit on the couch. Certain men are not built like that. No matter what, we can't sit on the couch. You know, some of us have a problem laying in the bed on the Shabbat day.
Oh, I don't have that problem.
No, you don't. Lafra says, my mother taught me, but my father showed me as well. And uncle showed me Torah, taught life, gave me wisdom. May the Most High be praised forever and ever. Wonderful. A lot of us didn't have that opportunity, but when you do, you got to do right. All right, so that's what this is about, family. This is about women. Don't just be so satisfied to grab a piece of mess just so you'll have somebody there to say, I got a man. You know, a lot of women are suffering in these relationships with horrible men. Now, you got to be careful the type of man that you get. First of all, you got to grab a man that's about the Most High's business. That's sign number one. Because you, being a righteous or a knowledgeable individual, you're only going to elevate as high as the man that you got in your life. And if that dude ain't about the Most High's business, I don't care what you're struggling with, y'all not going to work together. If you are about the Most High's business. Or he's going to drag you down, and you're going to eventually walk away from the Most High's business and be like everybody else that you know.
Okay.
All right? And that's how that go. Shalom, bang. Shabbat shalom. All right. 27. 26. Genesis 29 and 26. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Now Leah was the firstborn. Rachel was the younger. He said, I can't give you Rachel without giving you Leah first. So Leah got to get married first. This man was slick. He knew what he was doing. See, this man has searched out and found out by divination, as they say, that as long as he had Jake in his household, that will bring blessings to his house. You remember what I mean? You understand what I mean? Something like what you said earlier to me, that an Israelite man must understand that he's not a regular dude. He's the cream of the crop. You know, an Israelite person must begin to understand that they're not regular people. They are the echelon of civilization.
Yeah.
You know, we must hold ourselves in a higher standard than regular people. We have to look at ourselves. I put a post up the other day on Facebook and I said, I'm the most righteous person I know. And I meant it. And I said, now who can steal this? You understand? We all should feel that way about ourselves. Convinced in our integrity that we're walking right before the Most High. Even if you're not. You're doing your best is what that means. You're putting your best foot forward to please the Creator. Now, a lot of people might look at that and say that's arrogance. I don't see this arrogance. I see this confidence that I'm doing my best. I see this honesty before the Almighty that I'm doing my best. I see it as an example for others to look at, to implement, or to replicate in their lives by trying to do their best. And that's it. And that's how I see it. So I don't say things just to be tooting my own horn, because I ain't got no horn. I say things to try to spark something in the minds of an individual, to try to cause them to walk more in the ways of righteousness, the ways of the Almighty, Darik Shelka Yotzeh, in the ways of the Creator. That's what I try to do. I try to spark that in their consciousness. All right? (27) Genesis 29 and 27 again. Somebody said something. Exactly. It's not arrogance. It's confidence. Definitely great point. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for thy service, which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. Now look, after he married her, Leah, her father said, fulfill her week. Give her time to herself. Let her enjoy you. You're her husband. That time was for a week. So was they taking a honeymoon? You know what I mean? Was that honeymoon instituted way back in the scriptures in those days? He said, fulfill her week. That means give her time. He said, somebody said, I actually said perfect, but did I mean righteous? Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Trust everyone else's place is not measured by poison, but by the spiritual growth. Absolutely. Well, we got some very wonderful people here today. That's cool. I like talking to intelligent people. You know what I mean? I like speaking with and fellowshipping with intelligent people.
But, now when you're saying the week, give her a week or whatever, these were customs prior to us getting a law.
That's right.
So what they were, customs then. So it's not a law saying you got to give her a week, but that's the custom back then.
Yeah.
Even if there's not like you try to pick out in the scriptures where it says, this is what you're supposed to do as a man, and this is what you're supposed to do as a woman. Some things are just naturally known throughout universal law. Not trying to get too deep, but you know what you're supposed to do. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you go jogging, and you see the ducks, the mom and dad duck, make sure the kids get across the street. Mm-hmm. That's universal knowledge. Right. Nobody's telling you, bonehead, that you got to make sure your children get across the street. Right. It's not created had to write a law saying make sure they're safe and provided for. Right. You understand what I'm saying? It's right. What you know. You know this. But that's my little tangent right there.
You're right, though.
Yeah. So give them, the part about giving the week, back to what I was saying is, that was a custom back then. Spend some time with your wife. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stay up.
Now, the law says that you're supposed to give time for her for a year.
Right.
She asked a question. I'm trying to find it. It's not coming up. I don't know why it's not coming up. It says, what measured in that format due to demand? Universal knowledge is wise. Okay. Truth. Everyone has a place. Everyone's place is not measured by prosperity. Okay, very good. The point I'm trying to make to you is the law says that when a man takes a wife, he's not to go out to war
Right.
for 1 year. He's to remain home with his wife and take care of her for 1 year. Then he goes out and take on those burdens and everything else.
Right.
You know?
Because number one, you take a new wife, you're not thinking about war. You're thinking about getting back to, getting the candy yams and the vegan macaroni and cheese.
Candy yams and vegan macaroni and cheese. Let's get back into the scriptures.
All right, let's go.
So she got her week. But he said, after her week is fulfilled, and then you go and you serve me for another 7 years, and then you can take my other wife, your other daughter, my other daughter as your wife. But he actually going to give her to him, but he ain't going to lie with her. He going to give him to her as a wife, and then still have him work for 7 years.
Right.
Okay? He's going to pay his dowry as a servant until Laban. Today, boy, it's hard to find a man paying a dowry.
Listen.
Niggas is slick. They sneak your daughter out the back door.
Exactly. And then they come in, you don't
Pregnant,
put your daughter in the car,
barefoot,
and she
stripped,
stops
ripped.
by to get her oil changed with her friend in the car. And you like, hey, yo, you got a whole man right here.
That's right.
So, but let me digress into another thing. Me having daughters, I have 2 daughters. They're bills to me. I can't get them to go out out in the field with me, put in windows, doors. They cost me money. You understand what I'm saying? So I can understand about Laban. Hey, I got this man here. Help me put these windows and doors in and put this floor down.
That's right.
Because he has daughters. So that's his wealth. But now, you as Hebrew men, or we have daughters, beautiful daughters, and they just get taken away and you get nothing.
You get nothing.
And you still got to buy them a car.
And
get
still
their
got
hair
to buy
done
them a
and
car and
braids
get their hair
and all
done.
that.
You're right.
So it's like this society, we're like, I'm digressing and getting on my little spiel, but having daughters in Israel is not the thing of back in the day when they were your wealth.
That's
like,
right.
hey, good, I got some daughters. I can get, I'm gonna get some calves and some goats and different things like that and some fields because that's my, my wealth. But now
and they have the expectations of being married,
Yeah.
being virgins when they get married, and the man has to pay for them. So that's your
Exactly.
portion of receiving exchange for all that you put out over the years,
Right.
raising them up.
Right,
They understood that.
right.
And another thing that doesn't happen today that happened in the ancient days is when a person became of age that wasn't married, if they worked, they brought that wealth back to the family. They didn't move out
Right.
and go get a home, an apartment somewhere and start living on their own because they're able. They stay home. If they got a job, if they took on some kind of burden or something like that, they stay home, made that money, and contributed that money to the father's house.
Right.
They didn't bank it and put it in their own pocket. They gave it up. Yo, Abba, here, put that in the pot. But not today.
No.
Today, you get these young kids today, even in our age, nowadays, 39 years ago, You get these young ones today, even then, they would take that money and the first thing they think about is getting out the house, living on their own, providing for their own. And that's a lot of the reason why we're in the condition we're in. If more of us who were single remained home until the day we got married and then moved out and made that money and put it in the product of the house, the family's income, and not just for me so I can put it in a bank account or I can go buy me some new clothes or dress real fly and the lights getting cut off.
Right.
Daddy having a hard time. He got hit in an accident, never recovered, so he can't even get out there and grind like he used to, you know? So my mother might have to do it. I'm out here making money and not providing for the family. Even on the side of a young woman. That's how they did it. Until they got married, then they moved out on their own.
But I understand what you're saying. We're busy teaching scripture and history, but we're not setting up our culture, reinstituting our culture the way it's supposed to be moving forward. Because we can have all the scripture and lessons. Yo, you the best Hebrew teacher I know. Right there, you.
Oh,
right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, but what we don't have, and I'm speaking of me, I don't have the culture to raise my daughters correctly within the culture. You understand what I'm saying? So I can get the lesson and read the book, but if you try to explain that to I have a 17-year-old and a 22-year-old. You know, my 22-year-old want to go to Vegas. My 17-year-old want a Bentley for her prom. You know, that's not Hebrew culture, but it falls on...
Is her prom on the Shabbat?
Excuse me?
Is her prom on the Shabbat?
No, it's not on the Shabbat.
And let her take the Benz.
Okay, cool.
Save all that money.
Save all-
Give me a couple hours.
But that's
Yeah, let her take the BM.
No, but listen, let's all of that. But what I'm saying
You
is,
see how great the Most High is?
Yeah,
We're able to
listen.
say this today and mean it and be able to support it
right?
because of his blessings. It's great, man. It's
listen,
wonderful.
Listen, I'm in tears every time I push button start. I'm in tears. Like in the land of my captivity, I got a car with push button start. Cool, but that's not what pains me is our culture isn't being uplifted. Like I work with I'm not gonna call him a brother. He's not even a friend, but he's a work associate. He's an Iranian. They have a built-in culture. Their culture is they do certain things that has nothing to do with Islam or whatever. Their culture is just solid moving forward. Our culture, we're trying to put the pieces back together. Like we're speaking about what a woman's supposed to do to take a husband or what she's supposed to look for and how my daughter's supposed to act when they take a husband. Like they're bringing guys to me like, hey, this is my special friend. Like, yo, you didn't even introduce me to this guy. See, I'm off on a tangent on the Shabbat, but what I'm saying is that's where our culture
So you know how we fix this?
How does what, shotguns?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Pack up our families and move to Goshen. In Goshen, we have our own land and we're able to control what takes place with our children 90%, 95% of their lives.
I understand what you're saying.
Get them out of this society. Get them out of this culture.
Okay.
Come on, y'all. Come on down Goshen. We got 140 acres down there.
Okay.
We build houses, build a community, grow our own food, opening up businesses and feed ourselves. And we can homeschool and give our children the culture like they're supposed to have.
That, yes. In this, I understand what you're doing in this infancy. But if you're trying to tell, like I said before, a 17-year-old and a 22-year-old.
But it might be too late for her.
But even her last name was Bat Yisrael.
Yeah.
It may be too late to be like, hey, here's your culture. This is what you're supposed to do. You know, besides they honor their father and mother, it's other parts in our culture that's supposed to separate us from everybody
And
else.
I can't even say that it's too late for them. What it has to do is it has to happen.
Okay.
Don't give them a choice in the matter. Do you want to move with us in Goshen or you want to stay here? Don't give them a choice. Yo, November the 1st, we out. November the 1st, 2020, we leaving Philadelphia and we going to live in Goshen and we packing up our bags and we gone. Don't give them a choice. Hey, y'all what y'all think about moving to Goshen? Y'all think we can move down there? No, it ain't about that. Give it to them and that's it. That's it. We got 140 acres down there. We got enough land for everybody to live on. I ain't gonna say everybody, but we got enough land for at least 1,000 people
Gotcha.
to live in. Comfortably. Comfortably. And we can build that community from the inside out. We can take over the town of Sparta because we got so many participants.
Right.
And we can teach them culture. That's how we reverse this curse. You know? I said this a little while ago. Prince Rav, Nasik Rav, was speaking about, you meet a lot of Israelites that's always talking about the kingdom of the Creator on earth. How do we know that Goshen is not the format or the beginning stages of that kingdom? We all in Goshen talking Torah, 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 serve the Creator, serve the Creator. We building houses and community. How do we know what the kingdom of the Creator looks like? Well, it ain't in Goshen, Prince. How do you know? You don't. The Most High says his mind is not like our minds. His ways is not like our ways. So how do we know that the Most High ain't doing something really divine with Goshen?
Okay, I look at it like this. Goshen could be the tip of the spear or the beginning of something. For something greater where it could be 1,000 Goshens. It could be 20 Goshens in each state. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To where we separate ourselves from the rest of the people. But then within Goshen, in each Goshen, you have to purify the people that come to Goshen. You can't just say because, oh, you're Israelite, you can come to this particular place.
You know what I know?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I understand you. But you know what I know about that? Well, we do have a little house outside where a lot of people go to live before they come and live on the land.
Right.
But usually that's people that really can't afford it. But the people that we let come in are people that we already verified and made sure they were straight before they came and lived in the land, in the compounds of the land itself. But we, as a community, has to provide housing for those who are making that transition. You understand?
Right.
We have to get strong enough and enough wealth where we can own property that's not right in Goshen, but yet close to Goshen. So that when people want to make that transition, we take them through that weeding process to see if they're going to work out.
Right.
Because a lot of people will tell you anything, just like in a relationship. When a relationship is fresh, that man or that woman will tell you what they need to tell you just to get what they want.
Exactly.
So somebody come up here, hey, well, I'm a part of that. I serve the Creator like you, and I want to move in Goshen. And if we slow or we stupid or desperate, then we're going to let them move in, and that's not right.
Right. You have to have a filtration process. A few properties, like you just said, in adjacent to Goshen.
That's what we're doing.
You say the city is, the town is
That's
Sparta.
what we're doing.
Say, just say 10 rental properties. I don't want to discuss expand
We're
on
not
business.
talking about business. We're talking about righteousness.
Okay, 10 properties in the city of Sparta. So people you can see how they move, see what they're about, see if they're even worthy, see if they work. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
Right?
And work doesn't always mean they have to have a career in some special
Right.
trade.
But you need to be able to
How they
bring-
can contribute to Goshen.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
Go ahead.
let's move forward. But to respond to your question, that's how we reverse this curse. We have to begin to do for self. And by providing a place of refuge where the people can go, the Most High said that he will be a sanctuary to us in our captivity. Right. So there's going to be somewhere in this land of our captivity where we can go and rely on the Most High to provide for us. Right. And this is what we're building in Goshen. That's what we're building. A place where Israelites can come and rely on the Most High. Feed themselves, clothe themselves. A place where men can learn to be men. Children can learn the proper methods of learning to be children. How to conduct themselves so that they can prepare themselves for adulthood. So that would answer your question, how we can cause our children to not lust after the evils of this world, but be able to distinguish between evil and righteousness and make righteous decisions. A lot of people can't do that. So that's the goal with us. That's what we have to do.
Okay.
Yedidiah, Shabbat Shalom. Yedidiah say he's a farmer. And I am seeing the Most High, the Supreme Creator, tremendously blessing. Wonderful. Toda Rabbah. And I hope that you are willing to contribute to what it is that we're doing. With 140 acres at this time, presently, we have 140 acres. So you can grow almost anything we need to grow and provide almost anything we need to provide to feed our families. See, the difference between us and a lot of other Israelites is we not talking, we're actually doing. We actually out here putting in the work to make a difference for our people. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not talking about what Israelites are supposed to be doing. We're actually doing it. So that's the difference. A lot of people say what we should be doing, but they're not doing it. They're still talking about what we should be doing. So we don't really have to argue with you if you disagree with our decisions because we putting the work in. We doing it.
Remember some 20-something-year-old cats a long time ago used to have these same meetings. And we're like, yo, starting on Sunday, Yom Rishon, we're going to do X, Y, Z, right? We're going to start with this. And I'm just going to give you, because you were there. We're going to have these meetings. We're going to start with this. We're going to buy this area. We're going to do this. We're going to set this area up. And we're going to be Israelites patrolling our own area. This is going to be us. This little area where now the houses are $1 million. They were 20 grand back then, right? Come Sunday morning, nobody showed up. I showed up late. Called another brother on the phone. My wife said we had to do such and such. These other brothers was out all night drinking Manischewitz.
I remember.
They never show up. I'm just giving you how many times. And this was 20-something years ago, right? And half the brothers, you see them on the internet, they celebrating Christmas or Halloween, or they're in jail.
Yep.
Or they're in rehab.
Yep.
And now it's just me and you sitting here on the internet talking about, okay, we're going to do X, Y, Z later on.
But you know what? We're on the internet still enlightening the minds of our people. But the difference is we stuck with it. And within a heartbeat, we are the ones who stuck to the plan and
I just
still moving.
But when do you get tired?
You don't get tired.
No, I'm just...
You can't get tired. What you gonna get tired of? A people failing?
I'm tired.
Okay, that's why that's why you tired. Then that's why we got that land so you can go and relax. So all you got to do is pack up and come. I'll provide you a house if you want.
I can build my own house.
I know you can. But the reason why I say I will provide you a house if you want is because you pay your way with your skills. Your ability to be there is enough. We keep you moving, we keep you working, we keep you making money like you're supposed to be doing. We can make that happen. And you pay your way by your skills and your ability. You know how many buildings we got there that need work? We're trying to get you down there now to do some work at one of the buildings.
Okay.
We need sheetrock ran up inside the building. You're a carpenter by trade. Your hands are talented and gifted. Maybe if we can get you away from this and get you down there, you can stay focused. I mean, complete something, you know. maybe maybe that's what it's going to take.
We're going to talk about me working on the Shabbat.
We ain't talking about you working on the Shabbat.
No,
Bro, we talking about building a nation.
Okay, I'm understanding that.
Sometimes
but how many times have we had this conversation?
Shabbat Shalom, Angelina, and Angel Yah. So anyway, so we got the acreage of land. We ready to build a community
Ready to go.
right down in Goshen. Okay? So anybody interested, you can always inbox me, or you can inbox, what is his name? Nasik Rob or Prince Rob? What is his name on the internet now? Is it Nasik Rob Yisrael or Prince Rob Yisrael? Or you can inbox the sister that's there, Maisha, Medaya Yisrael. You can inbox any of those names that I just spoken and let them know that you're interested, that you want to put an application, that you want to be a part of, and let them know how you can contribute to what it is that we're doing as a people. And one of us will get back to you, contact you, and give you information and see if you're serious about what you say. That's right. We got to do the law. So where we stop off? You shy whenever you're ready, man.
What was it, 29 and
All right.
20.
Genesis 29 and 29. And Laban gave Rachel his daughter, Bilhah his handmaiden, to be her maiden. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. He worked 14 years for two Nashim. 14 years. That was strong.
Yeah.
Verse 31. And when the Creator saw that Leah was hated, now I got to this is y'all might want to go out and invite some of y'all friends to watch this because it's getting ready to blow up right now. You think the lesson was good earlier. Watch what we getting ready to get into right now. This is getting ready to go off the hook. Go ahead out, invite some of your friends, share this on your pages, blow this thing up right now because Israel needs to hear this. You know what I mean? Israel needs to hear it. And it's getting ready to get better. Here it go. And when the Creator saw that Leah was hated, it doesn't mean hated. It only means disliked. She wasn't loved as, she wasn't desired after like Rachel was. You know what I mean? Didn't hate her. But when the Creator saw that she was oppressed, He opened her womb as a reward. The Most High, He did something special for her because He felt her hurt and her pain. So He opened her womb. But Rachel was barren. So Leah, the one who was despised, mistreated, oppressed, was the one who had children, while the one he loved the most, cared after, took care of in a special way. You know, they felt that separation between the two of them. They felt that he was showing more love to this one than he was showing to that one. They felt it.
Right.
Because it was obvious. She was so oppressed. This is why you're not to show favor or hurt people or harm people when you have multiple people in your family. Multiple nashim or multiple children. You don't make them feel despised or rejected because the Most High will hear their prayers before He hears the one that you favor. So what happened? The Most High heard her prayers and He opened her womb. While the one He loved the most, He closed her womb. He shut her womb. But something great is going to come out of all this. Watch what happens. Watch what takes place. And Leah conceived. Now watch all the children that this depressed, lonely, rejected woman, watch the seed of Israel that come through her loins.
Right.
All the prominent men in Israel, almost all of them came through her. This is remarkable. She was favored so highly that she gave birth to all the key factors in Israel. Watch what happens. You got to be careful who you despise. You know, because if the Creator says, if they cry out to me, I'm going to hear their cries. I'm going to hear them. She cried to the Most High all the time. And you can know she cried to the Most High because when she gave birth to her children, she gave praises to the Creator. But she also asked her husband to give her favor, and her husband wouldn't do it. Watch what happens. Genesis 29 and 32. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and they called his name Reuben, or Reuben. For she said, surely the Creator has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. Her whole desire, her whole passion was for her husband to love her. To be accepted in the eyes of her husband meant the world to her. Now, how many women walk around with that kind of energy today? How many women look, oh no, he gets on my nerves. I ain't doing nothing for him. Oh no, they close their legs. I'm not going to give them that. They don't cook no more. They don't want to wash your clothes. They upset with you over the silliest of things because they think something ain't the way that they want it to be. How many women today actually have that passion to want to give their all? Their husband is their world. Not that they don't serve the Creator, but they give their husband the best of them. How many of them? Because they are out there. It's not like they don't exist, because they do. It's just that so oftentimes we hear the sad stories, we don't hear about the wonderful stories of the sisters of Israel. Right. When we see them on the internet, they're complaining. Most of them, not all of them. A lot of them are living that good life. But some of them, the ones that make it vocal, they talking about how hard and difficult it is, and men ain't no good. The Israelite men, they don't want no more because the Israelite man left her down, took advantage of her, hurt her, destroyed her, but she chose that man.
That's your choice, yeah.
You understand? And I bet you 9 times out of 10, matter of fact, 10 times out of 10, they didn't go through that vetting process. They didn't make sure that this man was serious with the Creator before he could be serious with you. You understand? Wait that 6 months or a year before you lie down with that man. Most of the time, none of that happened. Most of the time, oh, he's cute. Oh, I like the way he talk. Oh, he's a prince. Oh, he's a chief. He a captain. He's a moray. He's a deceiver. A lot of times, he's a deceiver. You have to test him, sis. You got to make sure that this brother is right. You got to make sure that he's going to get the Most High the best of him before you give him any of you. And that's part of the problem. Before you lie down with this man, vet him and make sure that he's serious about the Creator. Test him. You know how you give him a test? Try to get him to do things on the Shabbat that he ain't supposed to do and see if he check you. See if he corrects you. See if he elevates you. See if he speaks unto the woman inside of you or the queen inside of you and elevate her to perfection. See if he does that. If he does that, then his mission is greater than what you think. And he ought to be rewarded. But take your time even after that. Take your time.
No.
And show yourself approved.
I wouldn't do it.
What would you do?
No, if you have a woman that tried to make you work or go to a party on the Shabbat, what if that man left her right there, just walked out? And it's like, no, it was a trick. I was trying to test you.
Then that's what she needed. Then he's not worthy. It's just that simple.
But no.
It's just that simple.
Any
man searching after the Creator will be able to feel the difference between a test and something that's real. Once it's over. Her seriousness in letting him know there was a test will let him know. But then he'll start watching her ways as well.
Okay.
Because brothers, you can't be asleep. You got to be on top of it too. Just like you tell them to watch, you got to watch. Shalom, Bati, Tamaria, Moray, Uriah. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yahu ben Yisrael, Shabbat shalom. Azariah, Shabbat shalom. Huna, Shabbat shalom. May the Most High be with you all. But test them. Because just like a brother is supposed to test a woman got to test a man to make sure that they are worthy of what they are offering. Everybody can't have the jewels. But you can, as a sister, you can't keep laying down with different men. It don't work out, you move on to the next man. Don't work out, you move on to the next man just to find a righteous man.
Where they doing that?
And using that for an excuse. Oh, I thought he was a good man, but I see that he's not. No. You search without giving him your portions of you, your sections, right. Your private parts. Give him everything else, but don't let him touch the most intimate part of you. You understand? For that period of time, for however it is. And see if he's worthy.
Okay. I'm not a Hebrew woman, right? But maybe these Hebrew Israelite women are using let's say, for the lack of a better word, the yams to lock the man in so they feel as though, let me give him this so he can stick around. And then that's where the trouble starts, because 9 times out of 10, if you get an unrighteous man, your jewels, prematurely, he's not going to stick around.
Say that one more time.
Okay, let me
say it again. Yeah, go ahead.
Israelite woman.
Hold on a second. Sis, Yishka Bat Yisrael, I receive your question and I'll address it as soon as I finish with the brother.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Israelite woman finds a man that she deems righteous, and to hold on to this man, she gives him her jewels prematurely before vetting him, just to keep him. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because maybe, it's something about this. I'm trying to...
She's wrong. It's period. That's it. That's the bottom line. You ain't got to try to nothing.
Okay.
She shouldn't have gave him none. She should have waited the time limit See, one of the most important things that you have to do is be a man or a woman of your word.
Okay.
And if you say we're going to wait 6 months, then by all means, you wait 6 months. You can't give up your jewels prematurely. You have to wait that time out. If you're going to wait a year, then you wait a year. You don't give up those jewels prematurely. Then you get what you're supposed to get, a disappointment. You got to search this person out to see if this person is worthy of you.
So transversely, for the Hebrew man, does the Hebrew man say, hey, shalom, sis, here's a car, here's a cell phone, here's a...
No! You give her, in my opinion...
No, yeah, I'm listening.
Are you finished? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I'm just saying.
Right. In my opinion, you give her the bare minimum during that process. You let her know that you're able and capable, and you give her what you need to give her so that you can show her that you're willing to release a lot of the burden and stress that she has on her life, period. Because she may not make it through the 6-month process or the 1-year process. And if she don't make it, then it's no loss on you. You'll be blessed for taking care and providing for her to the degree in which you have. You're supposed to do that as a man, period. There's a bare minimum that you're supposed to do for a woman anyway. And that is to uplift her from her burdens. Whatever level you choose to do that, that's on you. But I would say you do the minimum for that courtship period. Once that courtship is over, you blow her world up. Once you realize that you're taking this woman to yourself as your wife, right, you let it go and you give her what she's supposed to have. All of you. You understand? But you don't be a fool about nothing.
In the courtship period, now, see, okay, we're going to go, in the courtship period, Prince, just say you met a woman, she does not drive. You have, I don't know how many cars back there, the truck. You're not going to say, here you go, sis, you can drive this, just to make her burden less during the time that you're with her, because you may need her to pick up the Shabbat meal or go tend to some business during your courtship period. Do you understand what I'm saying? It may be a time, being with a prince is a blessing because you have things.
But the difference is you said buy her a vehicle or give her a vehicle. If you got 15 vehicles sitting around, go ahead and give her one. That'd be selfish of you not to. But if you don't have those vehicles sitting there and it's going to cost you money, something you're going to regret later, then don't get it.
Okay. Because
you may not take her for your wife. You got to remember, you got to enter into this courtship with the prospect or the ideal that she might not make it through. So don't give her something that you're going to regret giving her later.
Okay.
Be careful about what you give her. You understand? Okay. Something that you wouldn't mind walking away from and don't feel no kind of way about it.
All right.
And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't give her nothing.
So in the courtship period.
During the courtship is what I'm talking about.
During the courtship period, you're having a conversation with said sister.
Yes.
And as you're talking to her, you're good, you know, you got all your properties rented out, or, you know, the big job came through, and, you know, you got the bank loan. And as you're talking to her, her lights get cut off. And she said, hey, can you cash at me $500 so my lights could get cut back on? Do you do that during the courtship?
Do you trust her? If
do you want to see her without lights?
Do you trust her was my question.
See, my way of trust and your way and other people's way of trust. I trust you until you show me otherwise.
Not me. Do you trust her? Because me, as a man, if I trust her, then I would give her that $500. If I don't trust her, I would ask her to give me the information to her account, and right, I will pay them directly myself.
Okay, got it.
Yes. But there is no way, absolutely no way, that you could be courting this woman, her lights get cut off, and you have the means to provide, and you don't provide.
Gotcha.
That's a violation.
Okay.
That means that if she was your wife, you still wouldn't do it. So that kind of dude you don't want to marry anyway.
Okay, just checking.
But if you trust her, then you give her the cash, have her the money. If you don't trust her, then get the information to the utility company and pay them to make sure she's provided for.
Right.
And why you sitting there like that, man? Sit up like a man.
I'm rested.
Yeah, but that's a little too cool.
All right, I am too cool.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doc.
I'm good.
So I want to address this sister's question, and she had a very good point. She asked the question that what if you already involved with a man and he's not living up to what he promised, his expectations of a righteous man? Am I right, sis? Is that what you're asking? Let me go back and read it so I'll be on point with what she's asking. She says, and what do you suggest for the woman who have already chosen to be with a man or with men who they found out later are not fully committed to the Most High. My answer is this, sis. That comes on different levels. You have married this man. Once you married to this man, you don't have the authority to say how much commitment he's given to the Creator. You don't have the right to say that. The only thing that I can say is if this man is handling all of his business as a man, food, clothing, shelter, conjugal rights, he's handling his business as a man, you don't really have much to complain about. And if you want to complain, you go to the Creator and you ask the Creator to help you. Now, if this man is not handling his business, then you got to go seek the elders, talk to the elders, and see what can be done to help this man get back on point. You follow me? This is why you wait that period of time before you just marry somebody and give them the best of you. So you can't just get a divorce because you want a divorce or because things are not going smooth. Sometimes, sis, well, I'm not going to assume anything. I'm going to have to go based on the words that you said. If this man is not giving his best unto the Most High, you have the ability to go to the Creator, to talk to the Creator, and complain to the Creator. But you do not diminish from your job and your responsibilities to this man as a virtuous woman, as his wife, as his Isha. You do not lack on that because you feel he's out of order with the Creator. Now, if he's going left part out of order with the Most High, then you talk to the elders and you bring it to the attention of leadership that my husband is going astray. And what I mean is if your husband is working on a Shabbat day, your husband start eating pork, your husband is a drunkard, start hanging in the streets and getting drunk. He's not taking care of his responsibilities in the household. Y'all lights are off. Your gas is off. Your water is off. He ain't paying the insurance or the taxes. He's not providing for you. You come home from work from slaving all day and he's sitting on the couch playing video games. Where he been all day.
But you don't have a husband.
Yeah, you don't. You have a
Then
boy.
what do you,
That's right.
bottom line, I didn't mean to cut into your thing.
You're absolutely correct.
What's that?
So you have to go take that to the elders, to the leadership. And if you have no leadership, then you inbox me and I'll try to help you to solve your problem. Okay? I'll do what I can.
I hate this, keep butting into your role here. But where's the eldership, the leadership and the elders in Philly? Who are we going to? Who am I talking to?
Talk to me. Do you mean if you have a problem? You have Zakeh on the time.
Okay.
You got Morey Yoel. You got me. You have Philly. You got Sarah Ba.
Okay.
Morey Yoel ain't but a phone call away.
Okay.
You got Sarah Ba. We have elders and leadership here that we can talk to if we have issues.
Well, their information needs to be readily available. There needs to be some way where you can.
That's why we got to get the community tight. When the community is in order, that question is already answered before it's a question. People know where to go to seek out advice or wisdom from their leadership. They know where to go. We don't have that. Israel is scattered all over the place. That's why we got to combine our efforts, bring it together, home and in. And then that question is already resolved. It's self-sufficient.
Got you.
I'm glad you're pleased, sis. Yiska, I don't seek any gratification or glory or honor for myself in that capacity. All praise, glory, and honor goes to the Most High. And my desire is to see all of his people return back to him in righteousness and truth. That's my desire. And if the Creator blesses me and gives me my way, in a little while we'll be doing just that, and giving the Most High his glory in fullness throughout the planet. Okay? But here we go. Let's get it in. May the Most High be praised. Genesis 29, verse 33. And she conceived again, talking about Leah, and she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Creator has heard that I was hated disliked, unappreciated. He has therefore given me this son also, and she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again for the third time. And she bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me. She's still in her heart desiring after her husband, for her husband to be pleased with her. I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Lewi. Lewi means joined to me. She gave him Simeon, Benjamin, Lewi. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, now will I praise the Creator, praise Yahudah. Therefore she called his name Yahudah, Judah, and she left off bearing. She bore him some of the most prominent men in Israel, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Lewi, and Simeon. Gotcha. The strongest, she Reuben also, but they were the strongest. That you got the spiritual force and you got the kingship came out of a woman who was despised. So sister, don't always think that if your man ain't doing you right, then the Most High don't hear your prayers, because he do. You understand? This is a wonderful thing.
I understand.
For something like that to happen. Yes.
No, okay, but the Creator had a plan. You know, the Creator's plan was the Creator's plan. He knew what was, the fact that, she was hated didn't have anything to do with the overall plan.
I think it did. You know why I think it did?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. To be in a relationship with somebody and you know that they're showing somebody else favor, it causes a certain type of emotion inside of you. Mm-hmm. That emotion helped to form that child to be what that child was.
Strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's like a woman that's a worker. What I mean by a worker is a struggler. Mm-hmm. She's used to getting up in the morning. She used to going out to work. She used to grinding, making her money, coming home and doing what she got to do. More than likely, she won't produce a lazy child because it's in their DNA to be hustlers.
Okay.
Now, if she and the daddy is like that, that child more than likely is going to be a grinder, a serious, he going to be about his business, or she going to be about her business. So that emotion of wanting to be accepted was inside her loins, inside her soul. Her desire to please her husband was inside of her soul. Right. And if you realize it, all of those children grew up desiring to please their daddy. All of them. All of them wanted the favor. Remember, because they got mad at Joseph because he had that favor. But they all wanted it. Joseph had it. Right. The reason why Joseph had it above the rest is because Joseph was pure. His actions was true and real. Where theirs was deceitful, like their grandfather. You know what I mean?
I feel it.
So go ahead. You got a question?
Nah, I'm on another, what I want to say is when I come across newly minted Israelites or just people I come across, it seems like either everybody's from the tribe of Judah or they're from the tribe of Levi. I hardly ever meet anybody that's in this captivity that doesn't say they're either a Levite or from the tribe of Judah. Now, maybe I'm just a run-of-the-mill Israelite. I could be from any tribe. I'm just happy to be, an Israelite. But why is it so many people just say they're either from Judah or Levi? Can you expound on that?
Because the Most High because the Most High is saying in the scriptures that he pushed Judah the furthest away from him. That's here in America. The majority of the people here in America is Judah, according to scripture. Another thing is you don't travel enough. You don't broaden your horizon enough.
Oh, maybe not.
You
Maybe
stay
I'll
right
be
here.
Philly, yeah.
Yeah, you stay right here in Philly, so you're basically dealing with, I mean, we go to New York sometime. New York, we have a whole multitude of tribes over in New York. Like, for example, Chief Sapor, Zebulun. He don't claim nobody but Zebulun.
Okay.
Okay? You know, it's a lot of people over there that claim other tribes. Well, once you get out into the Israelite culture, you'll meet other people who have gravitated toward other tribes. We got a brother down on the land called Chief Ephraim.
Mm-hmm.
He claims Ephraim.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Right.
So it's not always Judah that they're claiming, but in your immediate household, that's all you see is Yehuda.
Okay. But how can you claim a tribe? Because you have the characteristics
Yes.
of the...
Yes. The Most High speaks into your inward parts and allow you to know you just got that, you know,
Yeah.
that thing.
Right.
He lets you know where you're from. You see yourself through these tribes and their characteristics and their behavior within you. So you gravitate toward that. Sometimes the Most High visits you in visions and dreams,
No.
like he did with me, and let you know who you are or where you're from, you know? And it's up to people to accept it or reject it, but, you know, you got to accept what the Most High gives you.
Well, that hasn't happened. I've been in 26 years.
Well, maybe you're just an Israelite.
I'm just a ranking for... Yeah, I'm the people.
Maybe he ain't.
Yeah, when they say when the people murmur, that's me. Just a regular, degular Israelite. Not, you know, prince.
Yeah,
a chief,
maybe he ain't ready
a
to
chief,
give
a
you a
chief.
tribe. Well, a prince or chief is a title, not the tribe.
So where would I fill out to get a princeship?
Where you fill out, you can't
where
get
I
a
gotta
princeship
go?
yet.
'Cause
You can't get a princeship yet. You got to show that you're worthy of a princeship, and it's a
So-
lot of other things in life that got to be in place before you get a title of nobility like a prince. Other things got to be in place, like you got to keep your word. That's the first thing.
Got you.
You got to be on time. That's the second thing.
Oh, well, okay. Let me
Yeah.
grab my water.
Okay,
Go ahead.
things like that, you know, got to be in place.
You know, what about...
You got to be able to support your. Oh, you got all that down pat.
Yeah, I got
That
it.
ain't
Yeah,
an issue.
don't-
But that other stuff.
Don't come back. Don't come
Yeah,
back with me with
that other
support.
stuff.
You understand what I'm saying?
All right. Here we go, family. Yeah, you know, certain things got to be in place for you to get a title of nobility. You know, you got a lot of dudes walking around calling themselves
There's a lot of
Prince,
people out there.
Moray, Kohen, just turning out.
All right, I got it.
All kind of things, but, you know, let the Most High do his works. He'll separate the wheat from the chaff. All right, we're going to go Genesis, the 29th chapter. We're going to start at verse 34. No, we're done with that. Genesis chapter 30. Here we go, sisters. They're ready to give it to you, sisters. All right, my brother. Very well. I agree. No problem. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister. No. She ain't got the right to envy her sister, because she was the one being spoiled in so many ways. She was the beloved. But you know why she envied her sister? Because every woman in these days, desire was toward their husband. And the way that they pleased their husband most was by giving them male offspring. It pleased them so much. The epitome of it was to give them a male offspring. Second in line was to just give them a child. They were happy with any male or female, just as long as you gave them a child. And the problem was that Rachel was not giving her son any children, male or female. So it hurt her to the point where she actually coveted and became envious of her sister.
Wait, keep talking. I got you.
And it's kind of hard for me to keep talking. Somebody at the door and I can't see him. You know, I got that little warrior spirit up in me. I got, you know, got to make sure I'm cool. Well, I had to go pull the knife out and
Don't pull the knife out.
go at the door. All right. Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. She looks to her husband and said, give me a child before I die, or else I'll die. It's killing me. She had so much envy and jealousy in her, it was killing her. So she asked him to give her some children. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. Now, when you read that in the Hebrew, you know what it says? It says, and Jacob's nose turned red, or flared up. His nose flared up against Rachel. He actually got angry. You know when you get angry, you get like that, your nose flare up? So they use the expression of his physical characteristics to explain how he felt. His nose flared up. They explain it a different way in English. They say his anger was kindled against Rachel. He flared up. His nose flared up against Rachel. And he said, am I Elohim? Am I in Elohim's stead? Who has withholden from thee the fruit of the womb? He says the Most High provides. If the Most High don't give it to you, who am I to give it to you? And he said, and she said, now watch the spirit of this woman. She was angry and hurt because she failed to produce seed for her husband. And it deeply affected her so much emotionally that she said, well, here's my handservant, Bilhah. Marry her. Come into her and take her as a wife and have children through her, because Bilhah belonged to her, Rachel. So if Bilhah had children, those children was also property of Rachel. You understand? But at the same time, Scripture says he married Bilhah. He took her as a wife. He didn't just lay down with her and have sex with her. He took her as a wife, which means that was now his responsibility on a totally different level. When she was a servant wife, a servant woman served his wife, right. It was a different level of respect and responsibility he had to her. But now that he began to lie with her and took her as a wife, that level of responsibility increased. Bilhah had to get her own tent now. Where she might have slept in the community tent before, now she had her own tent. She had her own electric and gas having to be paid for now. She needed her own ride, her own car, her own life insurance, you know? Right. Her own health insurance. He had to get all that stuff now because he took on a wife. Let's read it. And Jacob, and we're on Genesis chapter 30, verse 3. And she said, behold my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her husband, to wife. She gave him Bilhah to wife. And that's what he did. Shabbat shalom, Keziah. Shabbat shalom. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore called she his name Judge, because Dan means to judge. And Bilhah, Rachel's maiden, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, within great wrestling have I wrestled with my with my sister. She admits that she's being on a negative with her sister. Mm-hmm. They're wrestling back and forth. This is what women do. Sisters, y'all don't have to do that. You ain't got to fight and wrestle with each other. Because if you don't get along, the system or the nation or the community ain't going to have no peace. So sisters, y'all got to find a way to get along before we are able to experience peace, joy, and happiness, because y'all sisters are the backbone of our success. A lot of men don't want to admit that, but I'm going to tell you, that's what it is. It's the reason why the Most High has created these women with a different portion of who we are. That's the reason. And Rachel said, Elohim have judged, okay, and I have prevailed, and she called his name Naphtali. Genesis chapter 30, verse 9. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her handmaiden, and gave Jacob to her. Now, both of these wives, or both of these Nashim, are in competition with each other to see who can have the most many children to be more favorable to their husband. That's what this is really about. They're in competition to see who the husband loved the most, or he would favor the most, or who he was pleased with the most. So they're in competition and try, oh, well, I can't have no more children. Okay, after 2 or 3 years of trying, she ain't getting pregnant. So she gonna give her handmaiden to her husband as a wife. How many sisters today in this society got that kind of strength?
Man, listen, ain't no Israelite woman giving nobody for nothing.
And you got that right. Not today.
Absolutely not. Israelite women wouldn't let another Israelite woman use their phone to make a phone call.
All right. My sister says, Huhana asks a question. She says her scripture says that Bilhah was a concubine and not a wife. She asks me to explain. A concubine is a servant wife. A concubine is still a wife. It's just a servant wife. And a lot of people want to try to play down the fact because they are of a Christian mindset that a man can only have one wife. So what they do, the translators of the book, translate it in a manner of concubine just so that you won't see that multiple Nashim was accepted. A concubine is a servant wife.
Can an Israelite woman be a concubine?
Yes. An Israelite woman can be a concubine. A lot of people teach that she can't, but I haven't found any scripture supporting that fact.
So she can just come out
as
a virgin, given as a concubine.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you another question. By that meaning, some women that are groomed to be a wife may only be at concubine level? Is that what you're
If you are a concubine and you're married to a righteous man, you will never know that you were a concubine and not a wife. How would you know? If he's dealing with you in righteousness and you are a wife, what difference would it make?
But that's what
because you ain't first. Because you ain't first. Why would that make a difference? If he's a righteous man, he's going to deal with you on a level where you won't forget all the facts of there's a difference between us.
Okay. This is. Please deal with me on the level of Hebrew that I understand. So, I have a wife, and I have a second wife. So the second wife gets the same amount of vehicle, housing, food, everything. So she's a second wife, but not a concubine.
I don't believe in the same amount of anything. You give according to their needs. You don't worry about being equal with this one. Just because you bought this one a diamond ring, you got to go buy that one a diamond ring. No, it don't go that way. But you don't buy one a diamond ring that costs $50,000, and then you go to buy the other one a diamond ring that costs $50.
Gotcha.
That will be evil. Okay?
Right.
But just because you bought a diamond ring for one doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy one for the other one. You follow me? But for you not to will be showing some type of disrespect. So if you buy a diamond ring for one, you should probably buy a diamond ring for both. If you bought a brand new car for one, you should buy a brand new car for the other one. They don't have to be the same kind of car. Ain't got to be the same make of car. But what you show to one, you should show to the other one. You know what I'm saying? And it might take you time in the midst of all that you're doing. You might not have the means to go buy a brand new house for this one, and then tomorrow go buy a brand new house for that. You might not have the means for that. So you take your time.
Okay. I know you want to get on with your lesson.
No, you go ahead.
I have a question.
What's your question?
So we as a community or a culture / community need to put parameters on what a Hebrew man, what does it take for a Hebrew man to have a second wife?
Well, I'll put those parameters in there.
You did, or we did, or the community?
No
did?
problem, sis. I explained those parameters.
No,
That's what this lesson has been about.
Okay, I wasn't.
A man has to be able to provide those things. When I quoted Exodus, the 21st chapter, I spoke about a man who had a wife who decided to take another wife. Those first things had to stay in place for that first wife in order for him to be able to provide for another wife. If he couldn't provide those things for the first wife was able to leave for free. She didn't have to give him a bill. She just had to go to judges and make a complaint, and she was able to leave.
Okay.
But that shows us that a man is supposed to provide. Whatever lifestyle he had her accustomed to, he can't diminish from that when he takes another wife. So that means he has to be able to provide.
Okay. And does he have to have a certain amount of knowledge, Hebrew knowledge or cultural knowledge, based on right now, 2019? What would you suggest a man have?
Righteousness in his
Right.
heart.
In his heart. A righteous man in heart. Not also the means to take care of her.
That he shouldn't have a wife if he doesn't have the means to take care of her. If he's a man and he doesn't have the means to provide for himself, how is he going to provide for a wife? Think about it. Like there's certain men that you and I know that come to you for work.
Okay.
If you don't give them work, they don't eat. They go stay with their grandmother or their aunt. And they're grown men.
Right.
Or they'll find a girl to take care of them. They shouldn't be married. They earn the right to take a wife. Because in order for you to take a wife comes with responsibility.
Gotcha.
Those type of brothers is just causing it harder for good men to find a decent woman. Because they're destroying them all.
All right. Let me give you an example. I'm associated. I have a wife. I have children, 2 daughters, mothers. I have associate women that I know. And every one of these women work for the government. You listening?
Yeah.
They either work for the police department, the state, the federal government, the city government. Every woman I know works for the government.
You mean every woman you got children by?
Yeah, and every woman, I have 2, don't put me out here like I got 30 children. My 2 daughters' mothers, they both work for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
In different capacities.
Okay.
Any woman I deal with on a daily basis, they all work for the city. So I noticed, I said, and we own the company.
Mm-hmm.
We work every day that's not the Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
They work on certain days. I'm just giving you, for example, every woman I know have lifetime jobs. If they just go home to work and sit at the desk and don't even turn their computer on, they have a job.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything we work for every day is provided for us by us. So what I'm saying is, it's hard for a Hebrew man. I went off on a tangent, but a Hebrew man has to provide for themselves. And maybe they might have these other women that work for the government or have their own jobs, and maybe they have 2 or 3 women. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh, okay. I'm not getting my.
Are they taking care of everybody?
I'm talking about these Hebrew men out here in the street.
The average Hebrew man.
The average Hebrew man that just,
Sleeping with different women.
yeah, but all their women have lifetime appointed jobs with the.
So
with the
what's the
government.
question?
I know Hebrew men that have more than one wife,
Okay.
right? But their women have jobs.
Okay.
And they're not providing equally for them, but they're just the man, the head of these different houses.
Do they women want to work? Because if a man has a Isha and she doesn't want to work, she don't have to work. It's his responsibility to provide for her. So if they want to work, then you let them work.
Okay. I'm not explaining this correctly, but it's in the city of Philadelphia, it's easier for a woman to have employment than a Hebrew man to have employment. And it's easier, it's harder for a Hebrew man to take care of multiple wives.
Then he shouldn't have them. If he can't take care of multiple nashim, then he shouldn't have them.
So what about these 7 women I know that are personally working for the city of Philadelphia?
What about them?
And they don't have husbands.
What about them? They probably ain't got a husband because of their attitude. Or they might just didn't find nobody worthy of them. Maybe they just ain't found a man that they pleased with. But I happen to notice this as you're talking about, and I know it's their attitude.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
One of them is a harlot. And I'm just keeping it real.
Yo, you on the internet right
I'm just
now,
being
son.
real.
Yo.
Well, if she's listening, she knows herself. She need to change her behavior. She's a harlot.
Okay, all right. But what I'm saying is, I believe at some point there's going to be women that are going to be, for whatever circumstances, in the beginning of their relationship, they're going to be taking care of a Hebrew man.
No.
Or
No, you will never see that. Listen, not in righteousness. Not in righteousness. Scripture says in Isaiah, the 4th chapter, the 1st verse, 2nd verse, it says, in those days, 7 women shall take hold of one man
right.
and say, let me be called by your name to take away my reproach. She said, I buy my own food, my own clothing, my own raiment, which means I got a job I can provide for myself.
Gotcha.
But I must be married. Why do I say this? It's because I need to show that there are other things that being married to a man, a righteous man, provides other than just finances.
There I go. What I'm trying to find a loophole to where an Israelite man can have more than one wife, because oftentimes than not, a Hebrew or a black woman has a job, a lifetime appointment at a government job, and these men find hard times. Maybe they're ex-felons. We know some Israelite men that are felons and may not be able to have a
Create a job, man.
That's
I gotta
easy
say
for
that
you
again.
to say.
Listen, let me tell you something. I've been creating jobs since I was 8 years old, man. When I was a little boy, I used to be in school. The little kids used to tease me. They used to call me Dirt. Dirt, 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 in my classroom. That's how they used to tease me in my classroom. What did that do? It didn't make me go home and kill myself. It didn't make me go home and beat the dog and kill cats. It made me get stronger. It made me change my situation. My mother did the best she could do when I was young. There had been times when we didn't have no water, no lights, no gas. We had to take empty water containers, go next door to my neighbor's house, get water from them, fill up pans in the stove with the electric that we were borrowing from next door on a hot plate, big pots, warm up the water so we can bathe to go to school that day. I used to have sneakers with holes on the bottom of my sneakers with the tongue hanging out. I know what poverty is. I know what it's
I
like.
didn't grow up like that.
But I did. That's how I grew up. The kids used to tease me because in the schoolyard, when I walked, my tongue, when I was running, my tongue of my sock was hanging out the bottom and would be flapping when I was running. And people used to tease me. And this is real. So I grew up. I know what poverty is like. I understand the struggle because I've been there for a long time in my life. One day I said to myself that I'm never going to be poor again. And I meant it. And since that day, I've been out here grinding so that my children don't have to see what I experienced. So I tell them stories and I share with them and they laugh and joke because it's foreign to them to live like that. Because of the sacrifice that I made. A lot of kids today, they go home and kill themselves because the kids tease them in school. My whole class would tease me. The teacher wouldn't say nothing. The class would tease. Now, a lot of them people used to tease me. I see when they grow up, they on drugs. They broke. They poor. They living homeless. And when I say poor, I don't mean money. I mean in nature, in mentality. Just their mind is poor.
Poor is a mentality.
If somebody don't hire them, they won't eat. Or they turn to crime. And I'm not like that. I don't want nobody to hire me. Matter of fact, I told a man to take his job and shove it. I'll go out and create my own work. Right. It's just the way I've been. I didn't get this way because somebody gave it to me. I was poor. And I've been grinding my whole life to make certain that when I got the things that I wanted, I got what I wanted because I earned it. You know, And that's just how my life has been. So when you sit here and tell me everybody don't have that opportunity, I don't agree with that. Because you do have that opportunity. You just got to want to take advantage of it. It's always a way to make something happen positive for yourself in your life when it comes to finances.
Every man doesn't have that fire or that desire inside of him to be a man, to be somebody.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but also these women I said, these 7 women I know, all have a desire to be with a man.
What?
What?
Say that again.
Okay, like I said, 7 women I know all work for the government.
Yeah.
Right?
And they all have the desire to want to be with a man.
They all have a desire to be with a man. But maybe
their
their pool of men, we're off on a tangent right now, but their pool of Hebrew men isn't there because a lot of Hebrew men are prince, kings, mores with no job.
Then how you a prince and a king and a moray with no job?
You tell me!
Well, I ain't got no job. Well, let's say we got jobs, but we don't work for people. You can have now. See, Prince, my co-part, Prince, Rob. He ain't got no job. He created a job. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's where I believe our culture or our meetings that we're supposed to have outside of our scripture talk should be with men and showing them how to create a job. There's a job right now. I need 12 people to caulk windows. That's a job. You understand what I'm saying? But we have to sit down with these brothers and show them it's a second component or a third component on being a Hebrew man. And that Hebrew man is, let's stop asking the white man for a job and let's create our own jobs.
That's right.
Let's not rely on the white man for food and shelter and build our own food.
That's Jesse Smallwood talking, y'all. Y'all go to his page, Jesse Smallwood, Smallwood Realty. That's him.
I'm a Hebrew comedian that doesn't.
But you're right. We got to create jobs for ourselves, to feed ourselves. Right. So that's what we do.
So on Sunday, go Rishon, I should have 20 inboxes on, hey, where's the work? How can I create a job? How can I do whatever? So when the sun go down.
I agree. Because that's how we get down.
That's it. So back to the scriptures. But in order to be that prosperous nation, starts from tangible things like the men being strong, righteous, strong and righteous. And
that's right.
Women being able to understand what a strong, righteous man is. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And he could be, because I can only lift up 90 pounds. So I'm not talking about that strength. I'm talking about strong in his will, strong in, what makes him a man.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Because, I've been with women, they say, hey, I want attention. Give them attention. Hey, I want money. Give them money. Hey, I want money and attention. Give them both. I want you to know karate. I'd be like, yo, all right. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you cannot please a woman because maybe that's just their nature.
Well, my thing about pleasing a woman, first of all, is about taking a woman. You got to make sure you take a woman with certain characteristics and traits.
Gotcha.
It's a burden, it's a sin for a woman to desire too much of her husband. Make her husband go out and do things that are not acceptable to the Almighty.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? She should never overburden her husband with certain things. But you have to be careful the type of woman that you marry so that you get a woman who don't want for the world. What I used to do is I ain't gonna let my secrets out the bag.
Don't let. Yeah. And also, when a brother says, "Listen to your brothers," when they say, "That might be," take it easy, son. Don't take the wife so quick.
Yeah.
Or don't take her for a wife.
The brother should listen, right?
Listen to that brother.
Yeah.
Listen to those brothers that be like, no.
Yeah, the brother should listen, shouldn't he?
The brother should listen.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, take it easy. Slow down.
That's right.
Relax. It ain't going nowhere. If it's for you, it's for you.
That's right.
Don't be so quick to enter into a situation. You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying?
The battery's dying on this phone.
Okay.
How we gonna do this?
You need, that's another thing.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
You need a whole setup.
Let me see what happens if I turn this phone over. The dope, it say rotate it back.
Okay.
All right.
Get your if I'm gonna be here commentating.
Sister said, same elder. Same thing for us sisters. She talking to you. She ain't talking to me, call me no elder.
You are all the way whole elder.
You the elder.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't no
if
elder.
I tell you a story from 26 years ago, and you was 26, you was a whole elder.
If I was 26 years ago, I would agree with you.
26 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not letting the cat out. But
You ain't got no cat to let out.
I remember 26 years ago.
Let me see if I can
wasn't
fix
10
it.
years
My
old.
battery is dying on this phone, so I'm trying to. Gosh, this piece of junk. All right, well, maybe.
Why don't you reboot and come back, take a break, drink some water.
Nah, man, I don't want to let it go. The people are here,
All right.
and I don't want to disappoint. Let me see if I can fix this charger.
Listen, when the sun go down, go to Best Buy, get a whole new rig. You need to be.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
I
you
keep
need a
saying
whole
that every
new.
week.
Yes. Go out to Springfield and
You
get
hear that
yourself
thing?
a whole new.
I say that every week, and I don't never get to do it. I say I'm gonna get me that little piece,
No, get your whole setup.
whole setup.
Yeah, whole.
All right. She said, y'all both my elders. I learned from y'all. I have to embrace it. Elder, now the real elder on here, talking about, I told you, Prince, you have to embrace it.
Embrace your eldership. Yes. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, okay.
Listen.
I'm gonna try to embrace that. I'm 39.
He don't want me around.
I'm 39
'cause I've been
years
around
old. How am I
over
gonna be an elder at
26
39?
years, and he was 26 years old.
39 years old and I'm an elder. Okay, I'll embrace it. No problema.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So now, are we
Good.
done with our
Let's get
conversation?
done with our conversation. I said my piece. Let's get back to this.
Does anybody have any questions in the room? Anybody in the room have any questions that we can discuss? Does anybody have any questions? Somebody laughing at me when I said I was 39. That's because she can't, or he can't understand that a 39-year-old man can possess this type of wisdom. That's okay, though. All right, let's get back to the scriptures. We're going to start at 39:6. Okay, somebody wrote something. Let me see if it's a question. You're right, Zaken. In my day, growing up in the culture, that was the mother stayed at home with the children. She cooked and cleaned and took care of the children. While the husband was out earning a living, she might take in clothing or clean a house a few days to help out. I believe that's our Israelite culture as well. It might not be possible for all of us today. You're absolutely right, sis. Huhana, you're absolutely right. That is exactly what we must do. That's the spirit. Go ahead, sis. I see you. Christopher Dookie Cole is watching. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, Christopher. Shabbat Shalom. That's the spirit. Go ahead, sis. I got you. So let's do it. All right. You with me?
I'm with you, man. I don't have no scripture.
All right. We're going to start at verse 9. I think that's where we at. 30 and 9. Genesis 30 and 9. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maiden, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maiden, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh forth, and called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maiden, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field. Now remember, Reuben was Leah's firstborn, the firstborn son of Yisrael, of Jacob. So he went in the field and found mandrakes. For some reason, this thing ain't working. All right, let me see if I put on low power mode. My charger ain't working. I don't know why. It's a brand new charger. All right, so we need a charger too.
You can't record on that.
The iPad?
No.
It's not charged up either.
You gotta get new chargers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the charger is new. I don't know why it ain't working. It's just what it do sometime. Okay. I got another charger upstairs, but it's the kind you lay the phone on. Anyway, and she said unto her, It is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and thou wouldest. Okay, so Reuben went in the days of the wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel cried to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. Now, they get ready to hustle for their husband. She get ready to buy time to spend time with her husband. So that shows that he had a lot of days set apart. A man with multiple nashim should have a certain amount of days for each woman, or on a certain day to spend time with a certain one of his nashim. Okay? And she said unto her, It is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, because he loves you the most, and wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? You know why she wanted the mandrakes? Because mandrakes is natural aphrodisiacs. They believe that they cause women to be fertile when they will produce seed. She wasn't having any, Rachel wasn't having any children, so she wanted her to give her the mandrakes so that she could produce seed. So Leah said, okay, well, let me hire out my husband this night with the mandrakes, and then he'll come stay with me. And watch what happens. Therefore, he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, which showed that Jacob was a working man. He was providing for his family. He came out of the field in the evening, shows that Jake was out there getting it in. He showed them in the beginning what he was about by impressing her, letting her know that he will provide for her, and he never stopped providing. Now they married, got children, and he's still getting it in. That's the problem with a lot of people. See, they put on a false impression when they first meet you, but then after you've been with them for a while, they got comfortable, they become somebody else.
They start relaxing. Yeah.
They become somebody else. Well, Jake is saying, I'm a real man, and I'm not going to change. This is who I am. Jake ain't changed. And Jake came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. You know she's going to get pregnant. Yeah, without the use of the mandrakes. And Elohim hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and she bare Jacob the 5th son. And Leah said, Elohim giveth me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. Now what she's saying is that she showed kindness to her maiden, her sister wife. She showed her kindness. And now the Creator's blessed her.
Now, one more thing. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you know from the tribe of Issachar?
One brother who claims the tribe of Issachar. Just one that I can recall. Some women may not know. Sister Antoinette says, some women may not know where the order was taken out of the home. For instance, when they have government assistance to black women. Well, she wrote a long joint, but she's absolutely right. Let me see where she's at. When they gave government assistance to black women, the man was removed. For all the Esau poured out for the woman to fall into another systematic oppression, women's rights, and Me Too movements. Now she is straying further from her natural role as she is now in another systematic agenda. I don't need a man. That's her ideal. We have to turn away from the world. We cannot come out of the curse alone, but together. We won't present us as he won't present us as chaste bride to his father with our filthy garments. Okay, sis. Good analogy. Mandrakes is a fruit. Jedediah asks a question, what are mandrakes? Mandrakes are a fruit. You can look them up in the dictionary or something. They look like prunes. And what they do is, there have been known to be fertility things to help people get pregnant who want to get pregnant. Okay? So that's what this portion of the conversation is about. And Leah conceived again, and there Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said that she had 2 children because she showed kindness to her sister. Elohim have endowed me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bare a daughter, whose name was Dinah. And Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim hearkened to her, and opened her womb. Wow, after all that time. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, Elohim have taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, Savior, Joseph, and said, the Creator shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away. That's the end. We're going to stop there. All right? That's the end of our readings for today. Are there any questions, anyone? Does anyone have any questions about anything that we read today? Anything that you may have heard? Are there any questions? Shabbat shalom, Mike Boy King. My man, Zakane. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Are there any questions about anything we read today, family? Are there any questions? You all have been a wonderful audience. A wonderful group of brothers and sisters. Very intelligent brothers and sisters. And it's greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. If there are no questions, then we're going to close out. Yeshua, you have anything else you want to say?
I'm good.
No? Does anybody else in the room have anything that they want to say? Zakane says something. Let me see what he says. All praises to the Most High. All blessings. Baruch, Baruch. Thanks, High King of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Yishak says shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. May the Most High be with you all. May the Most High bless you all and strengthen you all and guide you all in the ways of righteousness and his truth. Great breakdown, Antoinette. I enjoyed every word. Great lesson. Shabbat shalom. Ruhana, Shabbat shalom. May the Most High be with you all. Until next time, next Shabbat, we'll be here, Creator willing, at 1 o'clock next Shabbat. May the Most High be pleased. Shabbat shalom. Lekim. Joy Tatum, Shabbat shalom. Thank you, Ishi. Shabbat shalom, family.